Chapter 1. The Jacket from the Stars. The afternoon sunlight filtered weakly through the dusty windows of Second Chances, a thrift store that had long since settled into the background of Millfield's quiet streets, ignored by most and forgotten by many. Its peeling paint and faded sign did little to betray the wonders concealed within, where relics of forgotten eras, both human and unbeknownst to the usual patrons alien, sat waiting for new owners. 17-year-old Alex Ryder, restless and searching for something to distract him from the monotony of a small-town summer, had wandered inside almost on a whim. The air was thick with the scent of aged fabric and mothballs, mingled with a faint trace of something unplaceable, a metallic tang that lingered beneath the surface like a secret waiting to be uncovered. Rows of clothes hung on racks with no particular order, a chaotic mosaic of styles from decades past. Vintage jackets with frayed collars, threadbare shirts printed with faded logos of long-defunct brands, coats stained with the memories of 100 rainy days. Yet, something near the back caught Alex's eye, a shimmering blur among the muted colors. As he moved closer, his fingers brushed the fabric, and the chill that ran down his spine wasn't from the air conditioning. It was as if the jacket held a pulse, a heartbeat of its own, whispering through the fibers with the cadence of ancient stories. The material was unlike anything Alex had ever felt before, supple yet unyielding, shifting hues that played tricks in the dim light, now metallic silver, now deep midnight blue. It was heavy, but not cumbersome, as if designed to carry a warrior's weight without burden. Intricate engravings traced delicate, unfamiliar symbols along the seams, glowing faintly in a cobalt blue that seemed to hum softly beneath his fingertips. His curiosity overwhelmed caution, and he pulled the jacket from the rack. The inside was lined with a strange, almost liquid fabric that shimmered like a starry sky, an ethereal galaxy contained within stitches. There was no label, no price tag, only a small emblem embroidered into the collar, a serpent coiled around a star, entwined with glyphs that danced beyond comprehension. Alex shivered, both from the cold that seemed to emanate from the jacket and from an unexplainable thrill that shot through his veins. He knew this wasn't just a piece of clothing. It was something ancient, something powerful. Found something interesting? A voice croaked from behind a stack of boxes. The store's owner, a gaunt man with sharp eyes and a knowing smile, emerged slowly, as if he had been expecting Alex's discovery all along. "That jacket," he said, voice low and reverent, "came in years ago. No one ever bought it. Most people said it was cursed, but I think it's a story waiting for the right person." Alex looked back at the jacket, its blue glow now seeming to pulse in rhythm with his own heartbeat. He shrugged, feeling the weight of curiosity tipping the scales of his skepticism. With a quick nod, he paid what little the old man asked and stepped out of the thrift store, the jacket wrapped loosely around his shoulders, but already feeling like a second skin. As he walked home, the town around him faded into insignificance, the jacket's strange energy weaving itself into the very fabric of his reality. That night, beneath a sky cluttered with stars that seemed somehow unfamiliar, Alex sat alone in his room, tracing the strange glyphs with fingers trembling with wonder and a creeping sense of destiny. The jacket whispered secrets to him, not in words, but in visions, distant battles fought among alien stars, a mercenary wielding unmatched skill and haunted by the ghosts of 2,918 years past. The memories were not his, yet they flooded his mind with vivid intensity. He saw flashes of armored warriors clashing on forgotten worlds, of ancient technology fused with raw power, and of a name one lost to time, yet etched forever into the jacket's very essence. "Alex, you." The moment Alex slipped the jacket onto his shoulders, an unexpected surge of energy coursed through his body, prickling his skin and sending a shiver down his spine. The fit was uncanny, molded to his frame as if it had been crafted for him alone, despite the fact that the fabric shimmered with an alien craftsmanship centuries beyond human technology. He stared at his reflection in the cracked mirror near the thrift store's dusty window and barely recognized the figure that looked back. The jacket transformed him, or perhaps revealed a hidden part of himself he never knew existed. His fingers brushed the strange, glowing glyphs stitched inside the lining, and suddenly, images flashed behind his eyes, vivid scenes of distant worlds bathed in harsh neon light, starships blazing trails across endless skies, and a lone warrior standing resolute amid the ruins of a forgotten battle. The warrior's armor gleamed with the same cobalt glow, marked by the serpent entwined with a star and emblem that now seemed less like a symbol and more like a key to a destiny that was unfolding before him. Confused and exhilarated, Alex left the store with the jacket folded around him like a second skin, feeling as though he had stepped into another reality. His mind buzzed with questions. Where had the jacket come from? Who was the mercenary who wore it nearly 3 millennia ago? And why had fate led this ancient armor into the hands of a seemingly ordinary human teenager in a quiet town? Back in his small room, surrounded by posters of distant galaxies and spacecraft from his favorite sci-fi shows, Alex sat cross-legged on his bed and examined the jacket more closely. The fabric hummed faintly against his skin, and the glowing patterns pulsed with a rhythm that seemed to sync with his own heartbeat. Suddenly, a hidden clasp slid open beneath the collar, revealing a small, holographic interface that flickered to life with symbols he couldn't begin to decipher. His fingers trembled as he touched the interface, causing a cascade of images to flood the room. Star maps marking forgotten constellations, battle logs chronicling epic conflicts, and a warning from a voice both distant and urgent, speaking in a language that felt like a mixture of code and song. The voice spoke of an ancient mercenary named Kalen Dracker, whose legend had been buried by time, but whose armor had survived as a vessel of memory and power. Kalen had been a warrior of unparalleled skill, whose death 2,918 years ago had marked the end of an era and the beginning of a myth. Now, that myth was awakening through Alex. The jacket was not simply clothing, it was armor, a link to a past filled with honor, war, and sacrifice. As the night deepened, Alex realized his life was irrevocably changed. The jacket's power was calling to him, pulling him toward a destiny intertwined with stars, forgotten battles, and a legacy that demanded he rise beyond the ordinary. Questions spiraled in his mind, but one truth remained clear. The jacket had chosen him, and the story of Kalen Dracker was far from over. The first light of dawn crept cautiously through the blinds of Alex's bedroom, painting streaks of pale gold across the jacket that now lay folded carefully on his desk. Sleep had eluded him, chased away by a whirlwind of images and emotions that clung to his mind like smoke. Every moment since that night felt charged with something inexplicable, as if the universe had shifted just enough to let him glimpse a reality hidden beneath the ordinary. The jacket was no longer just an artifact. It was a living link, a key that pulsed with a rhythm not his own but deeply connected to his fate. Alex couldn't shake the sensation that unseen eyes were watching, waiting for him to act, to awaken the dormant power embedded within the armor's ancient weave. School offered no respite. His thoughts were elsewhere, tangled in questions about Kalen Dracker, the mercenary whose battles had echoed through millennia, whose armor had traveled time and space to find him. The stories Alex unearthed in dusty archives and forgotten corners of the internet were fragmented but tantalizing. Kalen had been a formidable warrior, part of a mercenary company embroiled in a cosmic conflict that shaped the very fabric of several star systems. His death in a final, brutal battle had ended an age, but the armor remained infused with mysterious technology and perhaps something more enigmatic, a consciousness waiting to be reawakened. That afternoon, drawn by a force he barely understood, Alex ventured back to the thrift store. The proprietor greeted him with a knowing smile, as if expecting his return. "Not many come back for the jacket," the old man said, voice gravelly but warm. "It chooses its bearer, and once chosen, there's no turning back." Alex nodded, the weight of those words settling like a stone in his chest. The next few days spiraled into a surreal blur. At home, the jacket seemed to respond to his touch, glowing softly, adjusting to his body temperature, and even shielding him from small injuries with an almost instinctive reaction. School friends noticed the change too. Alex walked taller, moved with a new confidence, and his eyes, once a dull hazel, sometimes flickered with an iridescent gleam that made people pause. But with power came danger. Strange figures began to appear on the fringes of his world, shadowy men who watched from a distance, their technology far beyond anything Alex had seen. Whispers of ancient mercenary orders, lost technologies, and interstellar politics pulled him deeper into a web he barely understood. One evening, as he lay awake tracing the glowing glyphs on the jacket, a sudden surge of energy coursed through him. His vision blurred, and the room dissolved into scenes of starship battles, blazing suns, and the face of Kalen Drakerstern, battle-scarred, yet filled with an unyielding resolve. The mercenary's voice echoed inside his mind, a command and a plea. Find the legacy. Protect the future. The weight of that charge settled heavily on Alex's shoulders, marking the beginning of a journey that would stretch across galaxies and challenge everything he believed. Chapter 2. Awakening the Legacy. The days that followed were a whirlwind of discovery and danger. Alex found himself standing at the crossroads of two worlds, the familiar Earth of his upbringing and the vast, alien cosmos whispered to him through the jacket's hidden depths. Each night, as he donned the armor, memories and skills long dormant stirred within him. Muscle memory, combat techniques, and alien languages flowed through his mind as if handed down through the centuries. He realized that Kalen Draker's consciousness was imprinted within the jacket, a guiding presence waiting to awaken fully. But awakening meant more than power, it meant responsibility. Strange transmissions began to reach him, flickering signals from distant outposts and forgotten star systems calling him to uncover a legacy buried beneath layers of time and conflict. At school, Alex grappled with the weight of his secret, torn between the mundane pressures of teenage life and the cosmic destiny unfolding around him. Friends became confidants, and enemies emerged, agents sent to retrieve the jacket at any cost. With the help of an enigmatic mentor and archaeologist turned interstellar historian named Dr. Ilaravos, Alex began decoding the symbols woven into the jacket's fabric. Together, they uncovered clues pointing to an ancient mercenary guild, a relic ship lost for centuries, and a threat poised to unravel the fragile peace of the galaxy. As Alex trained beneath Ilara's guidance, mastering the armor's advanced technologies and unlocking Kalen's memories, he understood that his journey was only beginning. The past and future converged in his hands, and the fate of countless worlds might depend on the teen who once wandered into a thrift store, unknowingly clutching the key to a power that had slept for nearly 3 millennia. The weight of the jacket grew heavier with each passing day, not just physically, but in the gravity of the legacy it carried. Alex found himself caught in a whirlwind of revelations, the boundaries between his own identity and that of Kalen Draker blurring with startling clarity. It was as if the mercenary's centuries-old memories seeped into his mind, flooding him with flashes of battles fought across alien landscapes, of alliances forged and shattered, and of a relentless pursuit to protect something far greater than personal glory, a secret so vital that entire star systems had been willing to wage war over it. Dr. Ilara Voss became his anchor in this storm of cosmic history. Her deep knowledge of interstellar archaeology and ancient mercenary guilds unlocked doors Alex hadn't even known existed. Together, they pored over star charts that mapped forgotten trade routes and lost outposts, cross-referencing data from dusty archives and alien artifacts Ilara had collected over decades. The glyphs embroidered into the jacket began to make sense as a code coordinates, tactical schematics, and even encrypted messages left by Kalen himself. Training with the jacket on became a daily ritual, a fusion of man and machine, past and present. Alex discovered that the armor was more than a protective shell. It was a living interface that responded to his neural impulses, enhancing his strength, speed, and reflexes beyond human limits. His muscles memorized maneuvers that felt both foreign and instinctual. Alien languages whispered in his mind, and complex combat strategies unfolded as vivid mental simulations. Yet, with these gifts came isolation. The normalcy of teenage life slipped away, replaced by a weighty awareness of the battles looming on the horizon. The shadowy figures that had begun to stalk him grew bolder. Strange drones scanned his neighborhood, and mysterious agents cloaked in advanced stealth technology watched from a distance. They were remnants of ancient factions, mercenary descendants, rival guilds, and galactic opportunists, each desperate to claim the jacket's power for their own agendas. Alex realized that possessing the armor made him a beacon, a prize in a dangerous game far larger than he had imagined. One night, as he walked the quiet streets beneath a sky dotted with unfamiliar constellations. The jacket suddenly flared with an intense cobalt light. The holographic interface activated on its own, projecting a map to a hidden starship lost for millennia. Kalen's final stronghold. The message was clear. The journey to reclaim the legacy was no longer optional. It was inevitable. With Alara's help, Alex began preparations to leave Earth's familiar gravity behind. They assembled a small crew of trusted allies, pilots, historians, and warriors ready to journey into the depths of space and face dangers that had remained dormant for centuries. The line between myth and reality blurred as Alex embraced his new role, not just as a teen who found an alien jacket, but as the inheritor of a mercenary spirit, destined to confront the ghosts of a war that still echoed through the stars. The galaxy awaited, vast and unforgiving. But Alex Rider, armored in the remnants of a warrior lost to time, was ready to awaken the legacy and carve a new path through the cosmos. The preparations were arduous but purposeful. With Dr. Alara Voss guiding the way, Alex dove headfirst into the tangled web of Kalen Drakker's past, piecing together fragments of history hidden within the jacket's cryptic code and ancient star maps. Every decoded glyph was a key unlocking secrets of the mercenaries' life, fleeting moments of triumph and heartbreak, betrayals by allies, and fierce battles fought on distant worlds bathed in the light of dying suns. Yet, what emerged was not just a tale of war, but a mission of protection. Kalen had been the last guardian of an ancient technology, one capable of reshaping civilizations or reducing them to ashes. His death was not merely a casualty of battle, but a sacrifice to keep this power from falling into the wrong hands. The jacket, imbued with Kalen's consciousness and combat prowess, was designed to choose a worthy successor, someone who could continue the mission and safeguard the galaxy's fragile balance. Alex's mind swirled with the gravity of this responsibility, a weight that settled deep within his bones. The ordinary life he once knew was slipping further away, replaced by the pulse of starships, the hum of alien tech, and the distant echo of a war that had spanned millennia. With the help of Alara and a select group of ally skilled pilots, tech experts, and historians, Alex prepared for departure. The stolen starship hidden in the outskirts of Millfield, long forgotten by official records, awaited them. It was a sleek vessel, ancient yet preserved by advanced technology, capable of traversing wormholes and evading detection by even the most sophisticated surveillance systems. On the eve of their departure, Alex donned the jacket once more, feeling the surge of energy course through him like an electric tide. The armor no longer felt like a relic. It was part of him, a living extension of Kalen's spirit and purpose. As the crew assembled aboard the starship, the weight of the coming journey pressed heavily on everyone's shoulders. They were not merely traveling through space, they were stepping into the heart of a conflict whose flames still burned fiercely. Chapter 3: Into the Void. The engines hummed to life with a deep, resonant roar as the starship slipped silently away from Earth's orbit, swallowed by the void beyond. Stars stretched into brilliant streaks of light as the vessel accelerated into hyperspace, a shimmering tunnel connecting distant points across the galaxy. Alex stood on the bridge, his eyes fixed on the swirling vortex ahead, the jacket's glow casting eerie shadows across his determined face. Around him, the crew worked with practiced precision, each aware that their mission was both a rescue and a reckoning. Their destination was a lost system whispered about in the oldest galactic records, a place where Kalen's legacy was buried beneath layers of time and forgotten conflict. Ancient ruins floated in orbit, remnants of a civilization that had harnessed the mysterious technology Kalen had vowed to protect. But the journey was fraught with peril. Rival factions, mercenary clans, and shadowy forces who coveted the same power stalked their path, ready to strike at any moment. As the starship emerged from hyperspace, the crew's sensors flared with warnings. Unidentified vessels cloaked in stealth approached rapidly, their intentions unmistakably hostile. The calm before the storm shattered, replaced by the chaos of tactical maneuvers and desperate defenses. Alex, clad in the armor's full interface, felt Kalen's experience flooding his mind, strategies honed over centuries, reflexes sharpened in countless battles. The fight for the legacy had begun. The starship lurched violently as energy pulses tore through the void around them, a barrage of invisible fire from unseen enemies testing the vessel's defenses. Alarm sirens screamed through the bridge, red lights flashing in chaotic rhythm as the crew scrambled to respond. Alex's heart thundered in his chest, but beneath the surge of adrenaline lay a calm that surprised him, a steady focus born from the centuries of Kalen Drakker's memories coursing through his veins. His hands moved instinctively, interfacing with the armor's neural controls to access tactical overlays and weapon systems that no ordinary human could master. The starship's shields flared, absorbing the first wave of assault as enemy fighters darted like deadly shadows across the vast canvas of space. The vessels were sleek, black as the void itself, equipped with advanced stealth technology that challenged even the starship's state-of-the-art sensors. Through the helmet's HUD, Alex saw faint outlines shimmering against the backdrop of stars, ghosts of war descending with lethal precision. The crew responded with practiced efficiency. Laser turrets tracked and engaged, evasive maneuvers twisted the ship's course in dizzying arcs, and tactical orders crackled over comm channels. Yet, even amid the chaos, Alex sensed a deeper menace, a presence beyond the physical conflict, an intelligence weaving through the battle like a dark thread seeking to unravel their very existence. Drawing upon Kalen's experience, Alex activated a hidden protocol embedded within the jacket's core, a pulse of energy that surged outward, disrupting enemy sensors and communications momentarily, buying precious seconds. Seizing the opportunity, the starship unleashed a retaliatory salvo, beams of concentrated plasma cutting through the enemy ranks with devastating precision. Despite the ferocity of their assault, the enemy pressed forward relentlessly, their numbers overwhelming and their tactics ruthless. Alex's mind flashed with images of Kalen's final battle, an impossible stand against overwhelming odds, a sacrifice made to shield the secret that could tip the scales of galactic power. Now, centuries later, that same legacy rested with him. The battle waged on in a deadly dance of light and shadow, every moment a test of skill, will, and endurance. Outside the starship's viewport, distant explosions bloomed like stars being born and dying in a cosmic heartbeat. Within the armor's neural link, Kalen's voice echoed, a steadying presence urging courage, strategy, and resolve. Hold the line, Alex. The legacy depends on it. Drawing strength from the centuries of knowledge and the unyielding spirit of the mercenary whose armor he wore, Alex pushed back against the assault with renewed vigor. The starship's weapons found their marks, crippling enemy fighters and scattering the shadow fleet. As the last of the hostile vessels broke away into the darkness, a heavy silence settled over the bridge. The crew, shaken but unbroken, exchanged wary glances, knowing this was only the beginning. Their true mission lay ahead in the heart of the lost system, where Kalen's legacy awaited discovery. Alex removed his helmet, sweat beading on his brow as he gazed out into the star-studded abyss. The weight of history pressed upon him, but so did the spark of hope. They had survived the first trial, but the journey was far from over. Somewhere in the void, the secrets of a mercenary who had died 2,918 years ago waited to be uncovered, and Alex Rider was the only one who could bring them to light. With determination burning in his eyes, he whispered to the silent stars, "Let's finish what Kalen started." The silence after the battle was almost deafening. The starship, though battered and scarred by the relentless assault, drifted steadily toward the coordinates etched deep within the jacket's holographic map. Alex and the crew worked tirelessly, repairing systems and recalibrating sensors, every movement underscored by the tension of anticipation. The lost system, a cluster of dim stars on the edge of known space, loomed ahead like a ghostly beacon shrouded in mystery, waiting to reveal the secrets long buried beneath centuries of dust and conflict. As they approached the system's outermost planet, the starship's sensors detected a faint energy signature pulsing beneath the surface, a relic of alien technology so advanced that even their best instruments struggled to comprehend its complexity. The ruins of an ancient civilization sprawled across the planet's surface, half swallowed by twisted metal and crystalline growths that glittered in the weak sunlight. This was Kalen Drakker's final battleground, and within these forgotten ruins lay the key to his legacy. Descending into the atmosphere, the crew prepared for an expedition into the depths of the derelict city. Alex felt the weight of destiny settle over him like a mantle as he donned the jacket once more, its cobalt glow intensifying in response to the planet's latent energy. With every step on the alien soil, memories flooded his mind, visions of Kalen's battles, alliances, and the ultimate sacrifice made to protect the powerful artifact hidden here. But they were not alone. Shadows moved among the ruins, mercenary scavengers and remnants of the ancient factions that had once sought to control this power. Alex and his team had to navigate traps, ancient defense systems still active after millennia, and enemies determined to seize the legacy for themselves. Chapter 4: Legacy Reclaimed. Inside the heart of the ruined citadel, Alex discovered a chamber illuminated by a swirling vortex of energy, an ancient core reactor humming with life after centuries of dormancy. The artifact Kalen had guarded was a device capable of harnessing and amplifying the very fabric of space-time, a weapon and tool of unimaginable power. As Alex reached out, the jacket fused seamlessly with the artifact, unlocking knowledge and power beyond human comprehension. The consciousness of Kalen merged with Alex's, their wills intertwining in a symphony of strength and purpose. Together, they activated the core, a beacon of hope radiating across the galaxy. But with power came choice. Alex had to decide how to wield this legacy. Would he become a guardian of peace, a warrior against tyranny, or succumb to the temptations of power that had doomed so many before him? Surrounded by allies and the glowing remnants of an ancient civilization, Alex embraced his new role, an heir to a mercenary's honor and a protector of the galaxy's fragile balance. The past and future converged, and a new legend was born. The ancient chamber radiated a soft, pulsating light that seemed to resonate with the very core of Alex's being. The swirling vortex of energy at its center cast ethereal shadows that danced across the cracked walls, etched with glyphs and symbols older than most civilizations. As Alex stepped closer, the cobalt glow of the jacket intensified, as if responding to the chamber's power, a silent communion between armor and artifact, past and present. Every fiber of his being thrummed with energy, a sensation both exhilarating and overwhelming. The jacket's neural interface bridged the gap between his mind and Kalen Drakker's consciousness, weaving their thoughts into a shared tapestry of memory and purpose. He could feel the mercenary's struggles, his hopes, and the heavy burden of the legacy he had left behind. Kalen's voice echoed within his mind, not just a whisper, but a clarion call to rise and protect what was sacred. With steady hands, Alex reached out and touched the core reactor. The moment his fingers connected, a surge of knowledge and power flooded through him, a torrent of alien technology, ancient wisdom, and the raw force of space-time manipulation. Images flashed before his eyes, star systems saved from destruction, tyrants brought low, and a future where peace might flourish because of the sacrifice made centuries ago. Yet, the power was a double-edged sword. The chamber's energy whispered promises of dominion and control, tempting Alex with visions of unimaginable strength. It was a test, one that had claimed many before him. Would he succumb to ambition or rise as a guardian? Drawing on Kalen's strength and the loyalty of his allies, Alex made his choice. He embraced the mantle of protector, vowing to use the legacy not for conquest, but for preservation. The core's energy responded, stabilizing into a beacon that pulsed across the galaxy, a signal of hope, warning, and unity. Outside the chamber, the mercenary scavengers who had pursued them closed in, their weapons drawn and eyes blazing with greed. But Alex and his team stood resolute, the jacket's power granting them abilities beyond mortal limits. In a breathtaking confrontation, the ancient technology unleashed waves of energy that incapacitated their foes, securing the ruins and safeguarding the legacy for generations to come. As the dust settled, Alex looked to the stars through the shattered dome above. The galaxy was vast and fraught with peril, but in that moment, he knew the future was theirs to shape. The armor of a mercenary killed 2,918 years ago had found its bearer, one who would carry the torch of honor, courage, and hope into the unknown. The journey was far from over, but a new legend had begun. The ancient chamber radiated a soft, pulsating light, bathing the vast ruins in an ethereal glow that felt alive like the heartbeat of a long-forgotten civilization stirring awake. Alex stepped forward, the weight of the jacket grounding him even as the torrent of power coursed through his veins. The swirling vortex at the chamber's center hummed with raw energy, its force reverberating through space and time, bridging the millennia between Kalen Dracker and the young human who now bore his legacy. With a deep breath, Alex extended his hand toward the core. The moment his fingertips brushed its surface, an overwhelming flood of memories and knowledge cascaded into his mind, visions of battles on distant planets, alliances forged and broken, and the Mercenary's final stand to protect a secret that could reshape the galaxy. Kalen's voice echoed within him, steady and resolute. This power is not just a weapon, it is a responsibility. As the jacket's cobalt glow intensified, it fused seamlessly with the ancient artifact, transforming Alex from a mere wearer into a living conduit of Kalen's essence and the technology's limitless potential. His senses sharpened, and the once enigmatic symbols embroidered in the fabric now shone with clarity, guiding him through the legacy's purpose, to safeguard the galaxy's fragile balance against those who would exploit this power for domination. Outside the chamber, the mercenary scavengers closed in, their eyes blazing with greed and desperation. But Alex, now empowered beyond human limits, stood unwavering. With a surge of energy from the jacket, he unleashed a radiant wave that disabled their weapons and immobilized their forces. The battle was fierce yet brief, as the legacy's might overwhelmed the invaders, securing the ruins and preserving the secret. In the aftermath, as the glow of victory settled, Alex gazed upward through the shattered dome to the star-studded sky. The galaxy was vast and perilous, but he felt ready in air not only to a warrior's armor, but to a mission of honor, courage, and hope. The jacket's legacy was his to carry, a beacon lighting the path through the unknown. And with it, a new chapter began not just for Alex Rider, but for the countless worlds that depended on the balance he vowed to protect.